Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in this world. I want to thank you for joining this session. It's a country update from Malaysia, and we're very honored and privileged to have Mahendran from ISM to speak about his organization and what they're doing in Malaysia to combat insurance fraud. I'll let Mahendran introduce himself because I don't think I could do it justice, but Mahendran, again, thank you so much for doing this and sharing with the world what you're doing. I do really believe that you have some best practices going on there, and the consortium that you have is really first class. So I'll turn it over to you and let you present.
Sure. Thank you very much, Dennis. And first of all, thank you for this opportunity given to me, given to my organization, to allow us to speak a little bit about what we do here in Malaysia. So as a quick introduction, I'm Mahendran. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Insurance Services Malaysia, or more commonly known as ISM. So today, I'll be talking a little bit about fighting fraud, okay? Something that's close to a lot of people today here. And but more a little bit taking an approach of a whole of industry approach, how we're tackling some of these fraud issues collectively as an industry. Okay, so before I move on to that, let me also introduce my organization, which is now Insurance Services Malaysia. So we are basically was set up in 2005 by the industry. So we are an industry organization primarily to handle the industry databases. So we have been collecting a number of databases across a few classes. And from here on, we provide a lot of services which are analytical based type of services. And the three main pillars of services that we look into are firstly the statistical and actuarial areas. So this is where we build competencies around underwriting, around technical pricing, even building reference models, pricing models for the industry. The second is in regards to information exchange. This is a platform to share information, especially for underwriting and claims purposes. I'll be getting into this a bit more detail, which also helps in our role as fighting fraud. Of course, more recently, we have been also getting into the anti-fraud services, especially around claims fraud detection. And also a quick introduction on how the Malaysian insurance industry looks like, so that you're aware with the number of insurers we're dealing with in this country. Malaysia is also quite unique in the sense that we got a combination of conventional insurers and the Islamic insurers, are also known as the takaful operators. So under the conventional insurers, there are two segments, which is the general insurance segment. There are 21 insurers under this segment, and whereas the life insurance segment there are 10 insurers. On the other side, the Islamic insurance segment, there are four operators who deal with the general takaful, which is the equivalent to general insurance. And there are 11 operators under the family takaful category. So the family takaful is equivalent to the life insurance as what we know in the conventional insurance side. But ISM, as an organization, we have been playing a bigger role on the general insurance and general takaful area. We are slowly expanding to provide some services on the life insurance and family takaful. But today, my focus today is going to be talking a lot more about the motor insurance. So first of all, start off, the motor insurance in Malaysia has been in a tariff environment for over 30 years. And it has just entered a phase liberalization from 2016 onwards, whereby there have been some gradual adjustments to the rates, and also some gradual changes to the product portfolio. So, and just like in many other countries, the motor portfolio is mostly unprofitable, or even if there's just marginally. There's marginal profits on this portfolio. And the motor insurance for in motor insurance class is about more than half of the whole general insurance segment in terms of gross premium. So it's a large portfolio for the Malaysian general insurance segment. So the tariff environment has created a lot of challenges. That means insurers are not able to set premiums on a risk-based approach. They are not able to use risk-based approach. Basically, the rates are fixed just based on a few rating factors. So what this is now then because of the rising cost of claims, rising cost of doing business, then insurers have started to look into how do they then prevent any premium leakages, as well as also enhance the claims fraud detection. I know this is very important for them because this becomes a requirement to sustain the business. So back in 2007, the Malaysian insurance industry took a whole of industry approach in setting up what we call today the Claims and Underwriting Exchange. And this exchange started off merely as a no claims discount database. It was a centralized database basically to store and track the no claims discount. No claims discount, or NCD, is a reward scheme for not making a claim. This is specifically for the motor insurance. There was a need for this, to look into this, because policy holders were frequently overstating what was their entitlement. Especially when they moved from one insurer to another insurer, the new insurer had to carry out some validations. It was time consuming, it was not accurate, and so on. So the insurers got together and set up this no claims discount database under the Claims Underwriting Exchange. This allowed seamless exchange of information. It was all done on a real-time basis, and there was no need for requirement to get this information from the policyholder. It was all available on a centralized database. So that's how the Claims Underwriting Exchange in Malaysia started off. So it started to play a role in the application fraud, in preventing application fraud. But today, this has evolved after about more than 10 years. This has evolved to 14 services, where it just started off as one particular service of no claims discount checking. We have got 14 services, and bulk of the information that is being shared on this platform is mainly to prevent application fraud. Okay, things like gap in cover. If there has been a lapse in the cover, and then there's been a huge time lapse before the policy is renewed, then the insurer will know about it. If it's their own policy, of course they have this data, but if someone is moving from one insurer to another insurer, this information will not be made available unless it's shared through a centralized system. So similarly, some of this information can also be used for pricing purposes, or pricing and even underwriting purpose, whereby information about claims count across the industry is being shared with the insurer. And these are all helping the insurers in terms of making the business moving towards a slightly more profitable, right? The system also has ability to generate reports, and in fact even submit like total loss vehicles to the road transport department. So it has become a very key tool for the Malaysian insurers in underwriting motor insurance for them. So this is where it all started, a little bit of a whole of industry approach. So in some countries, we've seen that they start off with the claims side, start to detect the claims fraud and moving into application fraud. But in Malaysia, it started off with the application fraud first, and now we are moving into the claims fraud. So talking about that, after about 10 years since the Claims and Underwriting Exchange was introduced, in about 2017, the industry once again came together to tackle claims fraud. And this once again using an industry-wide approach. So we call this system the fraud intelligence system. Okay? This was rolled out in 2017, and it was positioned as a tool to focus investigation on claims that are most likely fraudulent. It doesn't take away a role of investigator or an adjuster, but it helps them focus on the right claims to be investigated. And in fact, we're also positioned to expedite the genuine claims. We don't want to hold up genuine claims so that those can be paid faster. The customer experience is also good. So the other thing, one of the biggest advantage of pooling the industry data via FIS is the ability to detect organized fraud, which most often happens across a number of insurers. Because there are about 20 over insurers in Malaysia, fraudsters or fraud rings, they can actually move from one insurer to another insurer before they are without getting detected. And this fraud intelligence system, or FIS, was put in place to mainly detect this type of organized frauds. Okay, and the FIS took a data science approach. That means there was a need to have input from the subject matter experts, because these were people who already know what's happening around fraud, and we had to take their input first in developing the system. We also use predictive models to build analytical rules. So based on some data around known frauds, we started to build some statistical models and also incorporate those analytical rules within FIS. The other thing, very useful tool is the link analysis, which links up the entities across the industry. And this is where the user will be able to see how the parties involved in the claim are linked up over a period of time across the industry. If there have been certain entities who've been making claims in a particular behavior, this will start to appear in this type of link analysis. Okay, and we also in ensuring that this works efficiently, we took the approach to make this available, or make the fraud scores available on a real-time basis. That means as and when a claim is being registered, the insurer will immediately know what is the fraud score on that particular claim, so that it allows them to act on it quickly, or in fact, or even if it's a genuine claim, allows them to pay off the claim quickly also. And in rolling out this system, we took an operating model whereby all these alerts are actually sent back to the insurers, and the investigators or the claims handlers within the insurance company are the ones that will be carrying out the investigation work. Of course, there are also we also started to assist some of these insurers to carry out some of this investigation work. We have a small team of investigators who help them build the networks. This is just to assist those companies who do not have a claims investigation unit, okay, or a special investigation unit. Okay. Okay, so in rolling out this system, especially at least from a data perspective, we had a good start, because we had 100% participation from the industry. Every insurer that was carrying out motor insurance participated in this insurance. They submitted all the data for the system, including historical data. So that was a good thing. Secondly, was that sharing of data was widely accepted among the insurers. This is because of the existing culture from the claims and underwriting exchange, which I shared earlier in regards to application fraud. So they're already used to sharing information. So this was not much of a challenge in rolling out the fraud intelligence system in Malaysia. Nevertheless, there were a fair share of challenges. Any initiative that is industry-wide, any technological rollouts definitely has its challenges. And I think this is where there have been a number of learning points for us. And I think this is where I'm coming for to share some of these learnings if there are other countries who want to roll out a similar system here. First of all, is from an adoption perspective. I would say an adoption from a user perspective or a claims handler perspective. This is a new technology. It does any new technology, as mentioned, will require some form of adoption, some form of change management from the user's perspective. So this was definitely a challenge. And also resources that need to be allocated for this investigation, especially for companies that do not have a special investigation unit, because not all companies, not all insurers in Malaysia have a unit dedicated for fraud investigation. So in situations like that, what would be the priority of the claims handler? Are they going to settle claims? Which is probably one of their key performance indicators, how quickly they turn around a claim, or are they going to take a claim which seems suspicious and spend time in investigating them? So this was really a really huge challenge for companies that did not have a special investigation unit. So there was no priority for investigation. Their priority was more to settle claims. And also there was the mindset, about fraud is a cost of doing business. That takes time. Also, that culture, that mindset, that takes time to for us to overcome that mindset. Okay, and in terms of when we rolled out the system, another challenge was the high false positive rate. Okay, as you've seen, as now in a data science approach, we use the predictive models to build those analytical rules. And for the analytical rules or for the predictive models to come out with some good rules, there needs to be sufficient known frauds. And this was not available. This data was not available at an early stage. It's always an evolving thing. As we collect more and more data around known fraud, we can then build the models and ingest them into the system. But once it starts off with a high false positive and users' experience are not so pleasant, it's a demotivating factor for them to go back and use the system, because their experience in using the system, when you're looking at a particular alert and it turns out to be a genuine claim, and if this happens over time, a few times, then it really demotivates them for them going and looking at it. So, and these false positives, reduction of these false positives can only happen over a period of time, because we need to collect good data. We need to, especially data around known fraud or real suspicious fraud, and we can start building those models better. The other one was around, the other challenge was around technology advancement versus adoption rate. Okay, technology becomes outdated before we can even optimize the whole system, because before it is even really adopted by everyone, the technology cannot be used anymore if we need to reinvest in it. So there is a high investment cost, and in fact, there's a continuous investment cost, which results in high expectation. So these are some of the challenges that are key challenges we face, and once again, we have not even overcome all these challenges, but it has definitely improved. That needs a lot of awareness. That needs a lot of trainings, right from system trainings, technical trainings, right up to even soft skill trainings about changing mindsets, so on. Right. So those are some of the key challenges that we have faced and we are trying to overcome. So basically, it is a journey that takes a number of years. Okay, it's not going to happen quickly. It requires a lot of commitment from everyone, all the stakeholders that are involved in this. It will definitely be a great advantages if the regulators can be involved in pushing for the adoption of this. So the commitment is both from a people perspective, from a time perspective, you'll need to definitely invest that in to really be able to reap the benefits of this system. It also definitely requires some change in processes and mindset, right? If you don't have the change management in place, this is not going to get a priority. This is not going to, the people are not going to see the full benefits of this. So in fact, as mentioned, there's also some skill sets that needs to be built around to be able to carry out investigations, because around the network analysis and link analysis, there has to be some navigation around it to be able to actually detect these suspicious claims or even find out any of the fraud claims. In fact, it'll be very much more also encouraging if the industry gets the support from enforcement agencies, right? Because that becomes then a real motivating factor for the industry, whereas when we start to see that enforcement agencies see or start to convict insurance fraudsters, then this becomes a real good thing. So you've seen, okay, you heard me talk about two approaches here in terms of fighting fraud as an industry. One was from an application fraud perspective, where we started off with the no claims discount. It's now expanded into so many services, which is called the Claims and Underwriting Exchange, right? From there, we moved on to the claims fraud detection using the fraud intelligence system. And this is something we introduced about less than 5 years ago, and there's still a lot of work in progress for us to reap the full benefits of this. And as mentioned, this requires a lot of commitment, a lot of time to make this work. With that, I conclude my sharing today. And I thank you very much once again for this opportunity. I hope some of these points that I've shared bring some benefit to the audience. Thank you, and I'll now hand over this back to Dennis.
Thank you, Mahendran. That was absolutely fantastic. And hats off to you and I in Malaysia for recognizing the need for industry collaboration, not only with your organization, but with law enforcement and regulators as well. And I do think the benefits that you articulated here with of this collaborative effort is the cost savings to the industry, because individual companies can't afford to do this on their own. And the way that transnational fraud is happening, I think it's really important that we collaborate. So thank you for telling us and being open with the challenges. I'm sure you're going to get a lot of questions. I think you have led this approach for a long time, and are one of the best thought leaders in the world when it comes to pulling together a consortium model that you have. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. If we do have questions, please feel free to submit them as it says on the site here, and we'll get them to Mahendran and get a response back to the audience. So with that, thanks again for joining us.